looking at a 7.2 2.1 transmission, and I've had a number of people recently ask me, hey, what's the difference between those older transmissions and the 7.2 2.3 that I've been doing this series on? Some people are hoping that, you know, even the seals might be interchangeable. And at first glance, they kind of look the same, but they're considerably different. I mean, some of the principles of operation are the same, but the first thing you're going to notice is different. Okay, look at this. You recognize this. That's the B2. That's the B1. But look at this over here on the other side. We have another piston, the B3. So that is not on the newer transmissions. And when you take the pan off and pull the valve body, look down inside. You have 3 drums and 3 bands. So what's going on there? Now, before I continue, as we were taking this apart, I realized there's a couple things I should just tip you off on if you're going to take one of these apart. Cautions, okay? So I'm going to show you those now because we've got this rear case off. I thought we had it off. There we go. And we pulled the valve body. And the next step is going to be to remove these 3 pistons, because those have to be removed and the struts have to come out in order for us to pull the core out of the center of the transmission. That's our goal, to get this out, get on the bench, and let's take a look at what's different in the 7.2 2.1 transmission. Here's a warning concerning removing the valve body. If you notice, there's a series of larger 13mm head bolts on this outer area of the valve body, and then all these number 10s in here. There's quite a few, and if you've worked on the 7.2 2.3, you just pull all the bolts out. Well, you do not do that on these transmissions. You're only going to remove the bigger 13mm bolts. I've already got most of them out here. And when you do, and lift this back, you're going to actually be shocked if you've never seen one of these before. Because look at how thick it is. It's actually in 3 pieces, and it comes out with this plastic piece right here. If you're rebuilding the transmission, then put this away and get it into some plastic bags or something until you're ready to work on it. Now I'm going to just briefly show you what will happen if you just pull all the bolts out and remove the valve body. You start pulling this apart, you're going to be shocked because you're going to have a few springs and balls falling out of there, and you will have a very difficult time figuring out how to put this back together. So, word to the wise, be very careful when you remove the valve body on these transmissions that you do it properly. You should try to get a manual and follow the procedures, but most of us, we just like to start tearing stuff apart. You get all the bolts out of this rear case, it's not going to come off because right here, this has to be removed first. If you look at this, it's a curved slot. So obviously it had some sort of a special factory tool. Make sure you clean this out. Get a screwdriver and clean all the junk out of it. And if you can, go to your spare hardware stock and try to get a big, thick washer. See, it needs to be thick, it needs to be big, and it's going to go in there. And we're going to use this like a screwdriver, but we're going to have to get something to twist it, and that's going to be a big adjustable wrench. But to save yourself some stress, you want to shock this. It's going to be in there really hard. With all the years, it's never moved. So just get a big hammer, and we're just going to shock the threads a little bit. Okay, then I'll get the washer. Get this wrench on here and get it tight. Then I'm going to have to hold in tight. No, I'm going to have to. Okay, got it. And then you can bring it the rest of the way out with just the washer. Look at that. Next step here is make sure you remove the modulator. And not just the modulator, but you want to remove the thrust pin and pull that out before we start tapping on this case to get it off. You could just tap it like this. What that does is it breaks it loose from the gasket, and then there's a couple places here. There it comes. Whoa! Look at that big spring. So this is considerably different from the 722.3. I'm going to remove this B2 piston. It also is spring-loaded. You have a little notch here, and I might be able to get in right there. So I'm going to go ahead and push this in. If I had this on a transmission stand, it'd be easier, but okay. Now look at this. That's considerably different from the B2 on the 722.3. Let's see how this piston comes out. Removing the B2 piston is a little bit of a challenge because there is a steel piston ring on it. So it's considerably different than the one you saw, than the one you've seen on the 722.3. We need to collapse that piston ring. It's like a little bit of a ring compressor. So I'm using these very thin, these are my modeling tools for mixing epoxy. So I'm shoving one right in here and rolling it up. See, that's compressing that ring. I'll come over all the way over here, and then I'll take this one, and I'll see if I can get up this side to compress the ring. Now, watch. I think we can get in behind, start wiggling it. It's still caught up down here, so I'm going to need to maybe put another one in. Right there. I think that's going to do it. How's that for a spring compressor? There we go. Oops, we're still stuck down here. There we go. Oh, look at that. You can't just hammer it out. You can't even pull it out. Look at this ring here. See, it's just like a piston ring on a piston of a car. And see what's happening? I don't know what that is. But the ring had fallen into the groove, and that's what will happen if you try to just push it out. And unless you can get something in there to compress that ring down, you will not get the B2 piston out of the case. So you can see how these worked. See, if you come to where this notch is, it would allow me to just get this underneath and get it in, and then I could roll it up the side, and then roll another one and get 3 in, and then the piston's going to come out. Since most of you don't have those kind of spreading tools, I realize that a feeler gauge, now I'm looking at, this is about 11 thousandths. You want a little stiffness, but fairly thin. You look here, the feeler gauge will go right in that slot and move right up in there. So if you're going to need a couple feeler gauges, or you can take your feeler gauge apart and use 3 of these and get them into positions where you can get the piston out. Since I have this B2 piston in hand here, I thought I'd just go ahead and show you this. It's kind of like what happens inside the engine when the piston ring seizes in the groove. Look at that. It seized right in there. It's still moving up here, but I'm sure that's not helping your transmission to shift properly. Now I went over to the other side and compressed the cover and pulled that snap ring, and the B3 over there just came right out. You can see why. It's just got an O-ring. So that one was easy to get off. I'll go back and show you how we pull this B1 out. The B1 has a lot of spring tension, just like the 722.3, so it shows a special compression tool. I thought I'd use this clamping tool. It did compress it enough to get the ring out. Now the trick is loosening this up. Let's see if we can, oh, well, yeah, that, but having this, they kept it from flying across the shop. So you have to be really careful when you remove the B1. I'm going to try to show you the main differences between the 722.3 and the 722.1. Keep in mind, this is only an introductory video. I'm not going to explain how everything shifts. I'm not going to do live demos or anything. I'm just going to show you there are some significant differences inside these transmissions. This is the planetary gear assembly on the 722.3. Now the 722.1, you notice the shaft is about the same, but there are multiple planetary gear assemblies, and one of them is in this drum. This is the reverse drum, or the B3, and there's no clutches in there. If you look over at the 722.3, you can see there's a clutch pack that presses together. But the only thing that activates the reverse in these transmissions is this band. So there's a band that activates reverse. So you have planetary gear assembly here, you have planetary gear assembly in here, and in the middle you have the K1 drum sits right in here, and this is the B1 band. So that's kind of similar. And then coming over here, look at the K2 drum assembly. Look how big and beefy that thing is. And then of course you have clutch packs in here, and you have clutch packs in here. The same with the, this is the K1 and the K2, they have clutch packs in the 722.3. So activation is a little bit different. Planetary gear assemblies are different. This transmission has 3 drums, 2 clutch packs, not 3 as in the 722.3. So those are the big differences. I would say if you're going to overhaul one of these old transmissions, I highly recommend that you go get some good documentation, because it's considerably different from the 722.3. I realize now that I should have taken that 722.1 and put it in a jig, but since I can't do that, I'll just end this video with a little jig.